Okay, my friends, here it is. The Saturday morning live stream at the Garden Like a Viking headquarters, zone 5/6, maybe 7 or 8. Nobody knows anymore. So we got to do the sound check. What am I going to say in the whisper? Tomorrow I am starting onions. Did you guys hear the sound check? What did I say? So, guys, let us know, where are you viewing from? What have you got growing, or what have you started? Hopefully not much, because you know the rule. The number one seed starting mistake is starting too early. So we don't want to make that mistake, do we? Now, let's see here. Okay. All right. Yeah, guys, it may seem like I'm a little bit over zealous about the sound checks and stuff, but it's just really important to me that it sounds as high quality as possible. And doing only lives like this, you don't get a chance for sound checks. You can't take back anything that you say. You can't do anything. It's all just live. So it's a whole different animal. So, all right, guys, let us know what's going on, where you're growing. Let me see who's here. Hope's mom 77 said, last year I found you later in the spring, so I'm glad I can hear from you before it all starts this year. Yes, we are about to begin. I mean, it's about to go down, guys, because this is going to be a fantastic growing year for every one of you. All right, because you're going to use the principles that you've learned on this channel, which is essentially the way of the earth. It is essentially the spirit of the great mother, and that is where the knowledge comes from. And so all we do is mimic that. So let us see here. Tomorrow I'm still okay. Tushi G, good to see you here again. It's been a while. Says tomorrow. Okay, yeah. So she heard the sound check. So that means it's working. Good. So let's see here. Chris Black, can I apply blended up bones to my garden beds now? Soil not frozen, zone 4/5. You can, absolutely. Although we're still several months away. So, a lot of you guys have asked about like the Viking granular fertilizer and stuff. And to some of you, I will be sending it out. But guys, we're still months away from needing to apply granular fertilizers. I know everybody wants to get zealous and stuff, but if you are using manures, then yes, get on it still. But if it's a granular, like a bone, blood, feather, all of those kind, then if it's, let's see, it's February, March, April, I mean, that's 3 months. So most of that stuff, by the time you start planting, May, that's 3 or 4 months from now, most of that granular stuff will already be used up. So most of that stuff will already be broken down. All right, so you don't want to do it too early. So I would say it's pretty, zone 4/5, you don't have any need to do it yet. It's going to be really broken down by the time that the plants come. All right. Jenny Grubb says, good morning. I have a family function to go to, so catch on the rewatch. Zone 5 something here. Trying to figure out catchment of my sump pump water. Any suggestions? Catchment of the sump pump water. Right now, guys, we're just drinking the old cup of joe from the morning still. This is a good organic, organic, fair trade, free range coffee. And it's got the raw cream in it from the pastured cows. Bunch of raw cream, like 5 tablespoons. And then 1 tablespoon molasses and 2 tablespoons maple syrup. So it's a whole event. But it is absolutely amazing. And I just have one good, big, strong cup throughout the morning. But I'm going to be having some bone broth today because I just made a fresh batch of bone broth, because not much longer, another month or so, maybe 2, depending on the season, we won't be able to make bone broth in the way that I make it. Because you have to, once you do the bone broth, you want to chill the entire thing. You want to strain it out, and then you want to chill it all outside. That's when that fat layer will solidify on the top of the bone broth. You want to remove that. I know it seems like no, but you want the fat. Yes, but that will make it spoil. And that's also what gives it a really bizarre taste. It's so overpowering. You don't need that fat in the bone broth, okay? So you want to actually remove that layer from the bone broth. So, Zebra PT, my Sophie and buddy welcomed yours from across the Rainbow Bridge. Condolences to you both. Let's see, condolences. The Rainbow Bridge. Are you talking about the Bifrost? Let's see, Brian Eri, hello, my friend. Good to see you here. Kelly Cornell, hello, tribe from Southeast Massachusetts. That's Massachusetts, right? Or Maine? M-A. Let's see, Freebird says, hi, Nate. I've been watching all your old videos to refresh. Excited for this year's garden. Yes, I noticed that because you've been leaving comments on every one of the videos that you watch. So thank you, both this channel and the Travel Like a Viking channel, which those are all in sequential order on the Travel Like a Viking channel. So if you guys are into like, Netflix type thing, watching little episodes of stuff, you can just binge watch the whole Travel Like a Viking saga up to this point, except the only difference between that and Netflix is that everything I talk about actually happened, for sure. And I have proof, and I'm showing it through the pictures. So it's not just a bunch of made-up Hollywood stuff. It's like real life. So that's the main difference. So let's see. Somebody said... Sam Potzik says, Nate, what's your opinion on fabric pots? Fabric pots can be wonderful. I still use many fabric pots, depending on your application, depending on the circumstance, is what will dictate whether or not that's going to be advantageous or not. So the main advantages to fabric pots are that they breathe really easily. So you cannot overwater. In a fabric pot, you essentially cannot overwater them. So they're great for beginners because they drain freely. But at the same time, you have to water them. You cannot it's not like being in the ground. A fabric pot has to be watered, has to be irrigated, unless you live like, somewhere where it's raining constantly. But no, a fabric pot wants to be in contact with the earth because it will actually put down roots, small roots through the fabric. And so don't be moving the pots around. If you got fabric pots, don't be moving them. Just in general, plants don't like to be moved because they will orient their solar panels to the sun. And if you're moving them and stuff, then they got to reorient their solar panels and they're just draining so much of their energy. So they want to remain in the same spot. And if you move a fabric pot, guys, and you know this, once the plant is established, and so you lift it up and then you set it back down and there's huge cracks in it because that's like an earthquake. When you're moving a fabric pot, it is like an earthquake for the plant. It is terrible for what it does to the root system, right? But fabric pots, guys, as you saw last year, if you followed the Garden Like a Viking Instagram account, I was doing constant updates on my story about my mom's garden, which is just 10 150-gallon fabric grow pots. And we made it real nice. And the only thing she used last year, guys, was the Viking granular nutrients and water. That's it. And she had Jurassic plants that looked even better than mine here. It was unbelievable. The tomatoes, she just had 2 tomato plants, one Berkeley tie-dye and one Cherokee purple. And she was getting massive tomatoes all summer right up to frost. Long after mine had already succumbed to the blight, hers were just producing strong. But we had the Viking nutrients for one, but as well, we had it on a sprinkler timer. Here's the thing. Every night, because we had a dry summer, so every night from 11 o'clock at night till 11:45, the sprinkler came on for 45 minutes. This was the key to the fabric grow pots. That's the key. I just gave you the secret among secret for grow pot success, grow bag success, is that you need to water them daily. All right, unless you live in some place where it literally rains every day. Rachel, Successful Garden Design, says, hi, everyone. Happy Saturday. Yes. I saw your response last week that you're back to eating some plants. You're off the carnivore. You lost too much weight. Hey, that's understandable. But I commend your effort for going full in, for saying, hey, this looks like something that might be worthwhile. So you go and you experience it. And that's important. That's how I do things in life as well. And that's how we come into the real knowledge. So, but glad that you're back on the plants as well. Lots of meat, no doubt. I mean, lots of meat and animal sources, definitely. I eat animal stuff every day. Bone broth right here. I eat red meat all the time, eggs all the time. But also plants, potatoes and squash and, beans and corn and all the good stuff. Guys, you just can't even imagine the comfort that this is like. I mean, it's like, I brewed it for 2 days with some huge marrow-rich knuckles and stuff. The collagen peptides that are in this stuff is a structural protein, yeah? And so it helps to plump out the skin, and it helps to regulate the structures of the protein and of the muscle tissues, the cell tissues. So, yeah, you want to get that in there. John Saldana. Hey, Nate. Hello, John. Yes, I think I've received some other correspondence from you, but I haven't got around to it yet. So my apologies. Right now is the time when I'm inundated with correspondence. But if you guys need to get a hold of me, just keep trying, please. And just put your question, whatever it is, just, there. Because it's like a bunch of things are going by, all kinds of correspondence, and I just grab out the ones I can and then respond, because otherwise my whole day would be spent like that. But anyways, Zach with a C says, howdy from Central Texas, zone 8-9. I planted potatoes in 30-gallon grassroots fabric pots about 30 days ago, but then we had a hard freeze. Do you think they'll still grow, or should I replant? Thanks. Love the channel. Okay. Well, thank you very much for the contribution, Zach with a C. I appreciate the tip. That helps us do all kinds of cool stuff. The tips and everything from you guys, that helps us do all kinds of stuff and experiment more and learn more for you guys. So let's see. I planted potatoes in 30-gallon grassroots fabric pots about 30 days ago, but then we had a hard freeze. Do you think they'll still grow, or should I replant? It depends on, 30 gallons, and probably they'll be fine, because if you just had a hard freeze, then it probably didn't get to the core of that. So you could check and see what are the temperatures. It seems awfully early to be planting something, but I mean, Texas is different. And Texas has got so many different microclimates in it anyways. But yeah, typically potatoes will be fine. If they're in the earth, that is pretty, it's pretty insulative. So 30 gallons is going to be of an adequate size. I think you'll be fine, but it's been 30 days, so you should be seeing sprouts real soon. Because they might, if it's still cold and wet, the thing with trying to get the jump on the potatoes, guys, is that potatoes will rot in cold, wet soil. They'll just rot. So by 30 days, you should be seeing sprouts, for sure. So if the sprouts, if the little sprouts are above the soil, they will freeze and die. But the plant won't necessarily die. It will just regrow from the part that didn't freeze. So I think you'll be fine, but you might want to look in there. If it's been 30 days already, you might want to look in there and see if them things have sprouted or not, or if they just rotted. Did you chit them appropriately? Did you put them in the sunny place so that they can chit properly? Yeah. And remember, guys, the long like spider leg looking things on the potatoes that you have in storage right now, they're growing them long spider legs on them. That's not what we want. That's not really a chit. That's not the good, that's not the way to do it, because it's essentially, those real long white ones are like, they're searching for light. And so it's like trying to plant if you've ever planted a tomato or something with inadequate lighting, they get super long little spindly stem and tiny little leaves up top because they're searching for the light. They're starved for it. So the potatoes are the same way. So I have, even in one of my videos, I was still doing it that way, where I will just put those out. Even the big long ones, you just put them out, and they work. It works sometimes. They can recover, but if you're trying to go for maximum yield per given space, you want to do it the way you want to chit them properly and put them into the sun. Not direct sun, but a sunny, bright place that's warm, because then you only want them chits to be like this long, but stout. You want them to be real stout. Scott Miller, good to see you here, my friend, says woven, non-woven grow bags. What's the difference? Woven would be like the fabric, right? Or I would just have to see. The difference between like non-woven would be just like plastic, like straight up plastic grow bags, which they make those. Woven would be more like a fabric, more like maybe a ground cloth or felt. So woven would be more like the ground cloth. The non-woven would be more like the straight up visqueen, polyethylene. Yeah, Scott Miller says felt. Typically, I don't think they call felt woven. Woven would be more like the ground fabric. Yeah. Yep. So, yes. And let's see here. Laureen Collier says, some of the flower seeds I threw around my yard are sprouting now. Zone 9B in NorCal. All right. Where at in Northern California? Yeah, that is possible. Wildflower seeds or flower seeds, definitely you can just sow those, especially if there's something that's somewhat native or even native to that zone even, then you can just put them out. Wildflower seeds or flowers in general are meant to overwinter. They have enzymes in them that keep the seeds really robust and strong, so that when the conditions are right, when the heat and the sunlight and all of this, when that comes, then it says, okay, now is the time, boom, and it will grow. But they won't rot. Yeah. Lorene's, okay, Sacramento, nice. Yes, I lived up in Humboldt for quite some time in the mountains, but I dated a girl from Sacramento. We saw our family all the time. So, yes, it is, Freebird says, Nate, are you going to show us your seed starting setup again this year? I'm thinking about purchasing the one you have. Probably, yeah. I might not do a full... I don't know. I feel like I should, because the seed starting masterclass video I did last year did not take off, and it's just not taking off. But it's literally everything you need to know about seed starting. I mean, if you watch that and you set up the conditions similar, you will have success. It tells you all the 5 things that plants need. But yes, I'll probably redo it. I'll do another one. So yes, the link to that seed starting setup though is in the description of every video now. This video right now, there is a link to every component in there. All right. Big Wes, what's up, my friend? Says I watched that video last night. All right, good. So you know. Deborah Litke says, what is the name of the big black fertilizer bins that you are using? Those are just pickle barrels or olive barrels from, there's a guy that is a Facebook Marketplace. Yeah, there's a guy. If you guys are in the tri-state, if you guys are in the northern Indiana, northern Ohio, and Michigan area, there's a guy that sells these green mountain barrels, something like green something barrels. If you're interested, I can find it, but they're only like $40 or something like that for a barrel, and he sells them. So all over the place. So you can get as many as you want. So yeah, it's just from Facebook Marketplace. And the main thing that you got to look out for is just to have something with an airtight lid. One, because you do not want that smell to be permeating the entire city block, as it will. But 2, you want to you don't want it to evaporate. That's very important. So you don't want your liquid fertilizer to evaporate. So yes. Wild Bill says, just tuning in. Have you started your onions? Nope, not yet. Not yet. Soon, though. Soon. They'll be the first thing I start, and then it will be several weeks before we start anything else. I know you guys are just chomping at the bit, but I assure you that is the number one way to cause issues for yourself, is to start too early. So George Kelly says, is it too early to start seeds with grow lights, zone 6 and 7, boundaries, North Missouri area? Yes. It's pretty much too early. Well, the thing is, guys, you have to see, okay, when is generally your last frost date? Ours would be roughly the middle of May. Okay, so if you count back 8 weeks from that, that would be the middle of April, or March, April, and then May. So that is when you pretty much will start everything. So you don't really want to start them before that. All right, you could start the cold hardy stuff like the cabbages and the collards, any of the brassicas and stuff like that. You can start that about a couple weeks before that, because depending on the season, you could plant out the cold hardy stuff about 3 to 4 weeks before the last frost date. But any earlier than that, and you're not really doing yourself any favors, because trying to get out as early as possible isn't necessarily the best route, because you want that soil to be warmer. All right, so people that are like chomping at the bit got their stuff started way too early, and so they're nursing along these sick plants that spend way too much time inside. By the time they go outside, they're all stunted because the sunlight is so intense. They haven't developed the capabilities to harness that energy, so it just burns them. And they've had this tiny little root zone, and they haven't had the microorganism relationship that they want, inside. And the wind is so much more intense outside. There's insects, all that stuff, and they haven't developed the capabilities to make themselves strong. Yeah. It's like if you have kids nowadays and they're just sitting in the basement, eating Hot Pockets and Gushers all day, drinking Capri Suns, playing video games. So when they get out into the world, they're like, they're just unprepared for the rigors of the world. Everything's just so intense. They're pale and anemic and everything is just, and people are so rough and brutal, and they're just not prepared for anything because they become soft. And so that's a similar kind of thing with our plants. So we don't want our plants to be snowflake, plants. So we want them to be inside for the smallest amount of time as possible, which just enough to give them a good head start. And so I'm going to say 8 weeks, no longer than 8 weeks. All right. Alex Forgy says, hey, Nate, this is Big Al from California again. Should I keep that lab in the refrigerator or no? Okay, Big Al, you're not talking about Big Al from the mountain, are you? No. This is Big Al just from this channel, right? This is how we know each other? Let me know. So, should I keep that lab in the refrigerator or no? Yes, definitely. Keep the labs in the refrigerator. Definitely. That will extend its life. Outside of the refrigerator, it's going to lose its potency quick. A couple weeks, and it's going to be losing its potency. So yes, definitely. Outside in Georgia, I know, says, hate to bring it up if you've changed your mind, but I was really looking forward to the mushroom bucket video. I know. Thank you, my friend. But I am, I took a 3-month break from making long form videos because I just needed a break for one, but for two, I decided that I'm not going to release videos during the winter time on this channel because they all tank. Even late fall, a channel of this size should not be releasing videos and getting 3,000 and 4,000 views on it. I mean, that's absurd. And so I just stopped. So now we're picking back up. But now people aren't trying to grow mushrooms and stuff. So, but I did make a 3-part series last year that does explain everything you need to know. 3 videos. And the links to those videos are in the description of this video. Go down to where you can see where you can buy the mushroom spores, and you will see that I have all 3 of those videos linked there. All right, so you will be able to grow them from that. All right. Daniel Sirmai says, greetings from Hungary, Budapest. Ooh, yeah. I spent some time in Budapest. Went to the hot springs there. Oh, my goodness. These old school baths in Budapest where like communal baths with just hot springs pouring down on you. Huge ones. It was really incredible. And then I went spelunking. I went caving under Budapest. I even made a video about it on my Travel Like a Viking channel. So yes, I loved Hungary and Budapest. Okay, Alex says, no, this is Big Al from Concord in the Bay Area. Okay, good. Just making sure. All right, good. Well, the question that you had, I hope that I answered it. Yeah, 30 days in the fridge. That's right. Look to Nature Homestead says 30 days in the fridge. Freebird says, you've inspired me to try onions by seeds this year. Nate, it's the air exchange in the tent I'm not sure about. Okay, how big is the tent? And how the air exchange will not be that important. So what size tent did you get? Or are you going to get one? So they have, you don't actually need, I went overboard. Okay, so if you watch my seed starting masterclass and you see my setup, I was just replicating because, the school I came from is growing high value, high stakes gardening. You know what I'm talking about? So we were growing them tents intensely, thousands of watts of lights in the tents with heat, and trying, it's just different. So we had to, cause we were forcing huge amounts of growth out of these plants in these tents. So I was exhausting the air, creating a negative pressure on the tent and exhausting the air because we had to filter it, but for the home gardener, you don't have to go that hardcore. You don't have to get the air, the inline fans and stuff. You don't have to get those, because just leaving the tent lightly cracked open, so long as you have a fan circulating the air in there, which you should have, like a floor fan circulating the air, just a small one, pointed up towards the ceiling, so it helps to cool the lights and circulate the air from the lights. If you just leave that thing just unzipped a little bit, that's plenty. Or if you get the link in the description for that tent, then they have, and this is even better, they have screened in parts that you can just take off the cover of the screen. That way no insects are getting in. That's the best thing to do. And just remove one of those, and that's going to be plenty of air exchange. You don't have to have that big thing like I did. Unless you want to. That is the best. Natalie Dumont, $10 Canadian. Thank you very much, my friend. Says, hey, Nate, I enjoy so much your enthusiasm and your teachings. My question for today, have you tried to grow and keep so-called winter tomatoes? Winter tomatoes. So, no, I have not. Because I am firmly of the belief and the understanding of the natural cycle of things that we do not need to be having tomatoes in the middle of winter, for fresh tomatoes like that. So I do can the tomatoes, so I grow them all, can them and everything, but the energy that would be required to grow tomatoes over winter is prohibitive. Is prohibitive. I assume that's what you're talking about, right? Winter tomato, unless there's some kind of thing I don't know about what winter tomatoes are. But you're just talking about growing tomatoes over winter, right? No, any of the heat-loving stuff, absolutely not, guys. In fact, I don't really overwinter much. One, because I don't have a greenhouse yet, but once we get the land, there will be a massive greenhouse. Not really like a well, you'll see. It'll be more like a geodome type thing. But then we can overwinter stuff. But right now, we don't overwinter anything. There's no need for it. And most of the things people try to overwinter are biennials. And so they, much to their dismay, once they overwinter their collard greens, or they overwinter their kale or their cabbages, or they overwinter any of that stuff, then they come to find that, the second year, all it does is just immediately go to seed. So it's not really a big thing. It's not really an advantageous thing. So But no, the heat loving stuff, no, that would just be unbelievably resource and energy prohibitive. Because even greenhouses, guys, they're season extenders. It's not about creating a whole nother season. So to grow tomatoes successfully over winter, you need heat and you need lots of light. And so we just don't need that. I recommend growing all your tomatoes and then canning them. So Joe Saldana, $10. Thank you very much, my friend. Says, amazing knowledge. We began to repair soil. New to all this. We moved 3 months ago. Don't know the zone. Recommend to start? ? We want to plant potatoes and corn. I can get R12 potato. Is that determinate? Okay, so let's see. So where are you? Where are you at? Where did you get the place? Because that will determine a lot. So where are you? And then we will go from there. So we want to plant potatoes and corn. Yes, okay, potatoes, not a problem. I'm not sure what R12 potato is. Maybe that's some specific strain of potato. But I like to stick with the classics, but you can grow whatever kind you want. They all grow pretty much the same. So you'll want to chit them, and you will want to give them super nutrient-rich soil, guys. Potatoes are hungry. Colombia. Okay, see? Sabachacu, Colombia. Okay, so there's not a lot of words I can't pronounce, but that one I don't even have a clue. Colombia, yeah. So I don't really know a lot about that growing zone. That's going to be different. So because you're not going to have to worry about the kind of frost that we have and stuff like that. Somebody look up that Sabachacu, Colombia. What zone is that? All right. And it's the only kind I can get here. Okay, well, good. Then if those are the potatoes you can get, then obviously the locals know what they're doing. So if those are the ones you plant. Because actually the South America, more like the Andes and stuff, is where potatoes really originated from. But the wild potatoes are a much different thing than what has been cultivated now. But so Big Wheel Dog says, Nate, I'm growing my tomatoes along with my lettuce and spinach upstairs in my house. They're cherry tomatoes, and they seem happy since the lights are going anyways. Okay, nice. Good. Then that's wonderful for you if you're into that. For me, I wouldn't be able to, because the ones outside are just so deliciously nutrient dense because they have everything. Tomato is a marvel. It's a masterpiece of flavor. The tomato is all about flavor to me. And the more flavor, the more lycopene, the more complex phytonutrients that are in it, the more minerals are in it. And it all has to do with how it's grown. It all has to do with how it's grown. And that is why tomatoes from the store have no flavor anymore. And it wasn't always like that. When I was a kid, I still remember tomatoes tasting like something that you get from the store. But that has since gone by the wayside. One, because they have to produce so many tomatoes now that it's unbelievable. And so that because everyone is under the illusion now that you need to be able to get a fresh tomato any time of year, totally irregardless of the season, and the parameters based upon Mother Nature. No, I should be able to get a tomato anytime. So they grow them in hothouses, and hydroponically especially, they'll grow tomatoes. And that's why they have zero flavor, because they have no nutrient profile, they have no minerals, they don't have those complex phytochemicals and all that stuff. And B. Hendricks, yes, says they pick the tomatoes green. Absolutely they do. And so, for all of those reasons, the tomato, if you're going to give something like real nice, rich, high quality soil, the tomatoes will pay you back in the flavor probably more than any other crop. For the most part. Also, potatoes will do it as well. The potatoes you grow yourself are phenomenal, but tomatoes are just a whole different ballgame. So for those reasons, yeah, I wouldn't be growing those. But if you guys are into that and you want like for salads and stuff, that's great. But I would use that real estate to grow microgreens over the winter. Yeah. Kim Williams says, same as carrots. Shop bought ones have no taste. Absolutely no taste at all compared to the sugary sweet ones that you can get growing them yourself. Root Trackers by Yara says, store-bought tomatoes, even the organic ones, are missing like 18 components. Yes, absolutely. They've done all kinds of studies on this now, and it's a fact. Okay, Harvesting Faith Homestead, thank you, says would be pronounced Subachoki. Subachoki. Wow, nice. All right. Joe Saldana. Okay, 8,600 feet. Okay, so you're going to have different growing parameters. But if you ever wanted to do a Zoom call, we could do that sometime. So if you guys are needing some advice on stuff, then yes, it is just a donation based upon, for like an hour, it's generally like $100, give or take, hour 20, half, or whatever it takes. That's enough to get a plan for your upcoming growing season. So I still have spots available for that. So if you guys are wanting that kind of thing, then let me know. Outside in Georgia says, I got the grow tent in the seed starting video. Highly recommend. I got the inline fan too. Oh, nice. But I think it's a bit loud. Might need it in summer though. Lots of alpine strawberry seed starting. Yeah, hey, if you've got the inline fan, absolutely not a problem. You can set it on a low speed. If you got that same one that I got, you can set it on the low speed because it will exchange. If you keep it on the high, it will pull all that air real fast, and you won't need that capacity for what we're typically doing. But yeah, absolutely use it because that's all you will need. John Saldana says, let's do it. Okay, so you want to do the consultation? Yeah, we can do that. Because there's so many parameters. There's so many questions. Where can I reach you? You can reach me by email. Yeah, I saw your email. I just didn't have a chance to respond to it yet. But you can reach me by email and we can start a date because I'll look for it. I'll look for your email. It's just, I get so many emails and stuff now, which is like a double-edged sword, guys, I'm all about collaboration, and so I reached out to that other lady that's in my zone. She's over in Ohio, Growfully with Jenna. I reached out to her several times. I wrote her an email and saying, hey, I would like to collaborate, and some kind of, let's do that because let's bring our communities together because I know a lot of my viewers watch your videos. Here's what I got in mind, and just no response whatsoever. And so then I watched one of her videos. She released it like 5 minutes. And so I went there and I was like, hey, let's collaborate this summer. We could do something for our communities. I wrote you an email, hit me back. And she deleted the comment from her video. So I'm thinking, what? No, I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying, what is the deal there? Okay. I mean, we're trying, we're on the same team. There's no competition, or I don't know if that's what she's thinking or something, but yeah, so it's a double-edged sword because I know if she's like me, which I think she is, she's getting totally bombarded with offers about all kinds of people wanting to do stuff and trying to get in, but surely she knows who I am. I mean, surely she knows the Garden Like a Viking because if she pays attention to her analytics at all, which I'm sure she does because it's her business, then you go there and you look and it shows you what other channels your viewers watch. And she's one of them. So surely I'm one of them for her. But anyways, I don't take it personal. I'm just, okay, well, I guess that's not going to happen. But that would have been cool. I wanted to go to her garden, do a little tour or something, show you guys, ask her some questions. And then maybe for her channel, I could show them how to do a quick fertilizer because she's not into making her fertilizers. But, that kind of thing. To me, collaboration is where it's at. It's because I live by the philosophy there is no competition. There is only, at the top, there is collaboration, not competition. And so I think it would be wonderful. So, anyways, so the Jeffrey. Look at this. Look, guys, how awesome this community is. Jeffrey says, at Joe Saldana, I did a quick search and found a gardener's forum that gets into your growing zones for South America. Might be worth a look. Good luck, brother. See, that's awesome. Stone Creek, what's up, my friend? Says, greetings, Nate and fellow Vikings. Yes. Freebird says, thank you, Outside in Georgia. I really want to refine my seed starting setup to the next level. I love Nate's setup. Is this your first year using that tent? Guys, if you have a tent, you will have the ability to control the environment. That's so important. And that's that is so important. Okay, Voytech, $10. Thank you very much, my friend. I appreciate the contribution. He says, what do you think about the idea of starting seedlings indoors, then taking them outside on days when the temperature is above freezing and bringing them inside for the night? That works really good for hardening off, definitely. That can work really good. It depends on how many you have. One, that's a lot of work. Two, you're likely to forget, at least for a little bit, and then they will get frosted and they will die. Two, they... the plants orient themselves to the sun. And so if you're constantly taking them in and out and reversing them all around and stuff, and they're just like, that can be very stressful on them. Although that's not like a deal breaker. It won't kill them. But that's very good to do. That's very good to do. But I would not count on that being your primary method of seed starting. I would not. And remember, guys, for most grow zones, like here in northern Indiana, you don't really technically even have to start seeds early. We just, if you want to get the longest harvest from the season, then you want to start certain plants early. Yes, but you don't actually have to. In this growing zone, you can just put tomato seeds in the soil and they will sprout when the time is right. You can go out right now and put a tomato, like a fresh or like your tomato seeds, or even a slice of a tomato with the seeds. You could put it in the soil right now, and then it will grow when the time is right. It will know. It will be like June, before it does, but it will grow and it will produce tomatoes. It will grow into a magnificent tomato plant and it'll be no problem. You will have a harvest, but it will be like September. You'll have a small harvest window. But yeah, you can do that with pretty much all the plants. The only things you have to start early here is onions, because they are day length sensitive. Once the solstice comes, that's it. There's no more vegetative growth. All right. Remember that. Once the solstice comes, there's no more vegetative growth. Harvesting Faith says she's talking about Jenna. She may not have deleted the comment. I posted a comment on another channel and YouTube almost immediately removed it. Not sure why, but I posted the comment twice and it disappeared. Yeah. That's why I'm not like getting hung up over it or anything, but it's just, a little bit strange, a little bit sus, but whatever. So Larry Gillis, $10 Canadian. Thank you, my friend. Doesn't even have a question, just wants to contribute. Thank you. Hard to believe, says Nate, I want to share this technique. I'm in New Zealand. I planted sweet potato slips in the raised bed underneath my potato pots. The whole bed will be stacked with sweet potatoes. Worked last year also. Okay, I planted sweet potato slips in the raised bed underneath my potato pots. The whole bed. Okay, you will have to show us. Go to the Discord. There's a link in the description. I think you're already part of it, but go to the Discord chat and post some pictures. We want to see what the pictures of this growing technique are. Okay? Thank you. Because I can't really envision it. Big Will Dog says, question. I planted strawberry seeds indoors back in October and they're growing and they're throwing out flowers. Let them fruit or keep cutting them. I don't have enough experience with that to know, because this is the first year I will be starting strawberries from seed. We got the Alpine strawberries, which are a first-year bearer. So strawberries I've always just planted from the root, from plants. So I can't say for sure. I can't say for sure. I would probably keep taking them off. I mean, if it were me, I would keep taking them off, yes. Because you don't want them to invest any energy in producing the fruits right now. David Gaines says, how do you find your Amazon site? There's links in the description of this video to my Amazon storefront for one, but also even the links, just to make it easy for you guys, I put the links in a nice order so that you can find all the grow tent stuff. Now there's two different kinds of grow tents. There's the big one that I have from the video, but there's also the smaller one, which is a 3x3x6. Now, you take that tent and you lay it on its side. That's the key. You take that 3x3x6, you lay it on its side so that the door opens this way. And then you put the lights. But it's only enough for one layer, but for most people, that's going to actually be enough. So you can get, 8 good trays worth of stuff in there, or even more. I forget exactly. But that's how I was also doing it. So, yeah. Blessed Love says, where'd you get the stand you have inside your tent? That is actually just a standard wire rack from like Menards or Lowe's or Home Depot. It's just a standard, it's the high quality one, but the wire rack. Yeah. Freebird says, I would definitely keep taking off the strawberry flowers. Yes, me too. Wayne Caroli, stoicism, just let it go. Oh, absolutely, yeah. Yeah, I live by that code. Yep, not a problem. Rachel says, try looking for your comment by newest first rather than top comments. YouTube does this all the time. You'll probably find it wasn't deleted, just moved. No, I know all those tips. I know all those tricks. It's gone because I even went and looked at my comments and it was gone. So it was deleted. I know this. But that's not a problem. I'm just saying that I'd still like to collaborate because it's all about collaboration. She's got a community, I got a community, we got this community. So let us bring them together and share the knowledge. Yeah. So Shawnee Chavez says, I purchased the glass weights and a scale to try and lacto ferment the tomatoes and pickles this year, trying new ways to preserve foods. Yes, very good. You're going to like it. You're going to like it. So let me see here. John Saldana. Yeah, I got you, man. Definitely. So guys, a couple of things. So does anyone have experience with electric fence? Okay, so I have looking this year. Now I've been a part of doing electric fences in the past, but I've not like orchestrated it. So I'm looking to get some electric fence wire. We want to keep deer. It's mostly deer. We have to keep deer out of the veg plot. So what do you guys have experience with? I'm not asking for, I heard this or that or something, but do you guys have direct experience with setting up just simple electric fences, not to keep cattle in and stuff, but just to keep the deer out? That's all we need. So what kind of solar charger? Because since I was in the electric fence game, the technology has changed for sure. So let me know. Let me know in the comments of this video or in the Discord, but you have to mention me in the Discord for me to be able to see it. So yes, let me know. Pros, cons, all that kind of stuff. Did it work for you? Does it work for the deer? I would imagine that it would. But now they make like the spools of it that are almost look like fishing line. It's like a pliable line. It's not like wire anymore even. So that's probably what we'll go with because it looks nice and simple. And then a couple of other things. Yeah, I asked you guys on the one of the videos about San Marzano tomatoes, and the consensus with so many people, at least probably 24 people, said that the San Marzano is very prone to blossom end rot. So let that be known, apparently, that it's prone to blossom end rot. But we're not going to have to worry about that here, just because we are doing things to ensure that there will be plenty of calcium, plenty of even moisture. We use wood ashes. Tomatoes love wood ashes. Plenty of calcium, magnesium in the wood ashes and stuff. And so we're not going to have to worry about that. And we have the liquid, of course, the liquid calcium, which we don't actually have to use that much. And we only put it into the aerated compost teas occasionally. Yeah. So San Marzano. Oh, somebody says, whoops. Somebody said, Busy Girl says, I'm not growing them again. Man, Sister Golden Hair, I have heard that. Is that for real? Says, my friend keeps deer out by shaving Irish Spring soap around perimeter. Deer hate Irish Spring. I've heard this, but that just that doesn't make any sense to me. VA Green, 6 foot. Yeah, no doubt, because we've been putting just that deer netting around, which is 7 feet. But I'm looking to expand. I'm looking to go a little bit more permanent. Yeah. Yeah, Rick Thielen. We don't have the funds to go hard fence for that. And yeah, this is not the forever garden. So, Jason Hetty says soap doesn't work. I tried it. Okay. Ty Fody says electric fence works great for deer. Nice. This is what we like to hear. Hard to believe says, I planted the sweet potato slips under the potato bags. Okay, that makes sense. Under the potato bags. Nice. That's a great idea. Scorpio 1969, $50. Thank you for that contribution, my friend. Says, Buddy just had a freezer die. Said he threw out over 100 fish fillets on the cornfield. I cried. He has already given me what he calls junk fish and have made 3 batches of fish fertilizer. He asked if I wanted the head, guts, and tails. Is it worth it? Absolutely. Absolutely. Get you a barrel. I don't know how much he's got, but get you one of them barrels and ferment that stuff. Don't let any of that stuff go to waste. The bones and all that stuff. So like we were talking about the San Marzano tomatoes, they are prone to blossom end rot. Well, we have to make sure that they get plenty of calcium for sure. And the fish bones is going to have lots of good stuff in there. All right. So yes, absolutely, you can use that. And I'm going to show you guys a method of making fish amino acids in the K&F style. Now, it really is, I'll say, the nicest of all of the ferments, of all the fish fertilizers, but nicest only because it's the most concentrated by far. And it's the most, it doesn't smell. It smells really pleasant. It's really nice. So that is coming up. David Gillis, $5. Thank you very much for the tip, my friend. Appreciate it. Says, thanks for your knowledge. Yes, you are very welcome, my friend. Stephanie Raphael says, deer also avoid, I know this sounds gross, but it works, blood. I never put it in my garden, but around the perimeter. Definitely blood works. Yes, I've used this before. Yes. Blessed Love says, what size is the rack? Because I'm thinking there are bars on the inside of the tent that hold it up and take up space. The ones I'm using right now is the same size as the tent. There are bars that take up the space. Now you'll have to do the measurements yourself. I mean, did you get the exact tent that I put in the description? If that's the case, I will take the measurements. I think it's the 48 by it's the deeper one. Or I'll have to take measurements. Yeah, I'll have to take measurements. But yeah, you don't want it to be exactly the same size as the tent. Yes. What's up, Kenny? David Gillis says, Vivo Sun seed tent going, JMS going. Definitely. Julie Ann Scott, good to see you, my friend. Says, Nate, is your personal granular fertilizer ready for sale yet? Not yet. Well, in the sense that I think I'm going to end up getting this different storage space, so it's going to really enable me to make a lot more of the fertilizer this year already. So what I'm going to do, I think, is I'm going to order about 4 times the amount that I was going to order, and then I'm going to get like maybe 50 buckets, probably 5 gallon, some of them 2.5 gallon maybe. And I'm going to make it all. I'm going to rent a cement mixer to mix it all up, make it all at once, and then I will ship it out. But that does not need to be for a while yet, because remember, this stuff, you only want to put it in the soil about 2 weeks before the planting time. That's all the longer that you want to put it. You don't want to put it in like, it's not like a manure. The stuff will be totally, it will be like used up by the time the plants really want it. So, Grant, yes, a raffle each week for the Viking Fertilizer. There will definitely be that going on. I got to figure out, how do you do that? Some of you guys know Pinball Preparedness. He does giveaways on his channel, and his live streams, guys, he's got 2,000 people watching his live streams. It just blows my mind. And I guess maybe it's because of all of his giveaways that he does. So maybe we'll start doing giveaways here. But this live stream, though, is like, there's a lot more substance to the comments and all of that stuff from you guys. You know what I mean? There's not just like, some of them bigger live streams are just like mindless little like emojis and blah, 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 like just mindless stuff. This is not. Harvesting Faith says, how much fish would one need for a 5-gallon bucket? About a third of it would be plenty, to make a nice concentrated one. Really, however much you got. If you got like a fifth of it, that's fine as well. It won't be as strong. You can use a little bit more, So, John Saldana says, I am loyal. I am here for your knowledge. Well, thank you, my friend. That's what we like to hear. Big West says, I say what other people don't say, but they think it. Yes, we know this. Oh, what? Oh, Jeff Myers says, raffle on Discord. They have a bot that can do that for giveaways. Whoa. Okay, we'll look into that. We will look into that. Yeah, definitely we'll be looking into that. Look to Nature says 30 minutes talking with the Viking would be more valuable of a giveaway to me. Priceless, in fact. Oh, thank you, my friend. Yeah, that's what we'll do as well. Okay, we're going to start doing giveaways. This is ching, 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 like the light bulbs are going off. So I just think it would be great. We'll do like a one-on-one session giveaway, and then we'll do like a fertilizer giveaway. And then, and don't forget, we're still doing, if you guys are wanting we're still going to do a run of the Egyptian walking onions. So if you guys want the Egyptian walking onions, you have to pre-order them. You have to prepay for them. It's going to be $40, because we're making all this up. We're finding all this ways that we can. It's going to be $40, and you'll have to prepay to either PayPal, Venmo, or CashApp, and you'll have to give me your address and say that for the Egyptian walking onions, and you have to give me the address you want it sent to. And then when the time is right, so then I will say, okay, and I will put you down on a list. And then when the time is right, and that's going to be like September, the beginning of September, we will ship them all out at once. Because then as soon as you get them, you plant them. That's when you plant them, September. All right. So we're going to be having that. All right. So there's going to be limited supplies of that stuff, though, because we're growing them on the Viking at the garden. We're growing them. I'm literally touching each one of them. It's not like a third party anything. So we're going to do that because I would like for Egyptian walking onions to become more widespread again. They're wonderful. Once you plant them, that's it. You never have to plant them again. Mick, merch giveaway. Absolutely. As soon as I can figure out this merch stuff, there's so many things to do when you're trying to build a brand. It's just so many things, especially when you're like me and you're not naturally tech savvy. And so you have to like learn all this stuff all as you go, you know. David Gillis says, where do we go for pre-order? I'm feeling like for the pre-order, the way to do it is to just send, okay, there's links in the description to my PayPal link, the Venmo link, or the CashApp link, whichever you want. And you have to, so you can, $40, and you have to write in there 4 Egyptian walking onions. And then you have to also give me your address you want them sent to. I will record that, and when the time is right. And I'll show you guys as the list, you know, as people start paying or pre-ordering, I'll read it off on the live streams, you know, just so you can double make sure that you're paid off. And then when it comes, and we'll also probably put some Tahitian melon squash seeds in there for you guys so that you can grow some real Viking size squash. I know everybody keeps laughing at that squash that I keep holding up. Don't think I don't know what I'm doing. Okay. Freebird says, Nate, definitely put me on the list for walking onions. Can pay whenever you need us to. Yes, good, definitely. So, I mean, we're pretty much just going to do it. So you can pay whenever you want, you know. I don't know exactly how much there's going to be, so we're going to cap it off at some time. But, yeah, we'll see. So I'll know for sure exactly. I'm going to put another brain cell on it, and I'll know for sure exactly by next Saturday, all right? So, Julianne, listen, says, Nate, you shouldn't have to have a giveaway of stuff as you are already give away your heart and soul to us. We love you for making our lives and gardens so rich with your knowledge. Well, thank you very much, my friend. And that means more. I mean, that kind of, you know, that means more than a lot to me because, you know, there's different kind of contributions to things, guys. There's like financial contribution, which is wonderful, definitely, and that's inspiring. But there's also like emotional, spiritual contribution, that kind of thing. Inspiration, like, yeah, okay, we're doing the right thing. You know, everything's good. You know, even though I already know this, it's always good to have it, you know, to have others feeling the same thing. And that helps to supercharge everything. You know what I'm saying? So, Jerry, good to see you here, my friend, says, I'm interested in sweet potato slips as mine were a disaster last year. Oh, what? Yeah, the thing is, we don't have to start them nearly as early as we thought that we do because with the soil method now and the heat mat, I mean, they sprout fast, guys. And remember, if you over-fertilize your sweet potatoes, that's what you're going to get, okay? A bunch of those kind of sweet potatoes. And even though I knew that, I got overzealous with the Viking granular nutrients last year, testing it out for you guys, and I put too much. I put the same amount that I put for the regular Irish potatoes, because they are hungry. I put that into the sweet potato mix, and I had 30-foot long vines with leaves the size of dinner plates. They were beautiful, but I just had hundreds of these, and that's all from over-fertilization. So and then I sent it out to a couple people, the Viking granular, like Mish, the fish. I wonder if I haven't heard from her in a while, but, and I sent her some buckets, and then I way over recommended the application rate, but I was going off the application rate from where I developed that formula in Northern California, growing high value plants. And those plants are totally different. They're the hungriest plants that you can grow. John Saldana says, Nate, that contribution is the best one. With each video, I had felt the love you put into it. Thank you. Never change and do not stop. Thank you very much, my friend. That's a fact. We will not be stopping. I am driven. I am compelled to share this knowledge, to build the community, to get the land, to build the school, all of that stuff. It's all coming. It's all happening. You guys are just right here at the beginning. Greg Slazek says, thanks, Nate. I'm a new follower, but enjoy you sharing your knowledge. Definitely, my friend. Let me know if you have any questions. Big Will Dog. Oh, yeah, says, Nate, I could use 2 or 3 Tahitian melon seeds when you come down. Can reimburse you for them. Reimburse me. Man, that's going to be my gift to you, my friend. Whole handful of them. But yeah, I hope that I can remember. Jerry, by the way, you're here. So yeah, Big Will is in Indy, so I'm going to stop there when I come down in February. Is that still happening? Getting that side of beef? Because I'm going to come down and get it in February. That's what Katie said. So, so yeah, a couple of other things, guys. A couple of other things I wanted to say. So a lot of people are really keen on overwintering stuff. I think I already mentioned this. Oh, I did. A lot of people are keen on trying to overwinter stuff, but you have to remember a lot of things are biennials, and so, like I said, much to their dismay, is they will see that their stuff will just go to seed. Yeah, I already said all that. Okay. So the Stone Creek says, Nate, do you plant snow peas in February? No, I do not. I don't know why they're called snow peas. I don't think it's because you plant them in the snow on the ground. I don't really think so. Although, if you have good drainage, it doesn't really matter when you plant the peas because they will just grow when the time is right. But that's the thing, guys, about planting, trying to get as early as you can. The stuff will just kind of sit there for weeks and weeks, and then it will start to grow only when the soil warms up. But if you just literally, and I've done this so many times, so I know, if you try and plant peas like the beginning of March, then okay, you can, yes, but it's going to be like April 20th before they sprout, and most of them will probably rot in the soil. Likewise, if you just wait until a month later, the 1st of April, and you plant them, or the first week of April and you plant them, then they will still sprout at the same exact time that the other ones would sprout. They know when it's right, and they will sprout and grow faster than the ones that have been sitting there rotting in the soil for a month. Yeah, Big West says, everything I tried to overwinter died. I have some basil seeds from that plant. I planted some last week. Definitely, that is what happens most of the time. That is what happens. Happy to Run For Me says, just carry Tahitian melon squash seeds with you everywhere. Yeah, I know. It's funny. This is like the Tahitian squash tribe. But I mean, it works. So why not? Why not? John Saldana says, love your other channels as well. We feed not just our bodies, but our souls. Thank you. Absolutely. He's talking about the Thrive Like a Viking lives we do every Saturday at 10:30, or every Monday at 10:30 a.m. Eastern time, where we talk about things of a more spiritual nature. This week, we're going to be reading or commenting on chapter 5 of the ultimate modern spiritual book, which is The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. And we are going to, we do like a rundown of all that. Yeah, a lot of good stuff in this book and in that community. So that's at 10:30, but also every Friday, or except this past Friday, a Travel Like a Viking video. But this one's taking a bit longer. You guys will see why it's taking longer, because there's so much happening. Let's see. Hogue says, Nate, would you let me know if you have time for lunch when you're down in Indy? My treat. Ooh, yes, man. You have to remind me when you hear me talking about coming down to get the beef. Just try and send me a little something on the comments, the videos, or an email or something. But yes, I will try and definitely remember that. Okay. I can't do that right now. So, Signal Law says, day 10, I will be unwinding starting tomorrow. Are you talking about the Master Cleanse? Because here's the ultimate way to end the Master Cleanse. Bone broth. Good homemade bone broth. So, guys, here's a couple things from you guys. One, this is from a local girl, young girl. She drew me this picture. Is that not incredibly sweet and thoughtful? Look at this. She drew this picture. Look, there's carrots. There's me. There's a massive tree that's thriving. The sun is shining. Got raised beds with carrots and all kinds of stuff. She really knows what she's doing. So she says, I would like to meet you. I am 8 years old. My name is Tegan. I love watching your videos. I would like to hang out. Look on the back. I love you. I love you too, my friend. Thank you very much. Nate and Tegan, look at this. How sweet and thoughtful. Thank you, Tegan. And yes, when the time is right and the possibility presents itself, we will meet in person. I look forward to the day. Thank you very much for this kind and thoughtful gift. So look at all you guys. Yes. Yes, I know. When you get something like that, it's deeply inspiring. I mean, I put it on the wall and I look at it, each time I pass, and I think this little girl took the time. The energy required for that, drawing and everything and laying it out and things she's observed, so she would like to meet me. So we will make that happen. Okay. So yeah, I know it doesn't get much better than that, does it? Except on another level, my friend who is a Buddhist monk, actually a former Buddhist monk, his character arc in life is unbelievable. He is my friend. He comes over. We have dinner and stuff. He just went to Sri Lanka, back to his home village to get married. It's unbelievable. He used to be a Buddhist monk, but removed himself from it. It's just incredible, his character arc. And so he knows that I like jaggery, which is the boiled down sap, generally of the sugarcane plant, but this is from the date palms. So his village boils this stuff down, and they just have an extraction process, natural extraction process for the date syrup sugar, and then they boil it down until it becomes this hard, solid block. Guys, and he brought this back for me from Sri Lanka. I mean, this is substantial, all right? This was handmade in the village. This is how they've been doing it for thousands of years. And, okay, ready? Whoa. That's about as good as jaggery gets, guys. That's about as good as it gets. Oh, the sweetness, the complexity of it is so different. It tastes of dates. Okay, I'm gonna put this down. Thank you very much, my friend. Wow. Delicious. I need to text him. Thank you, my friend. That is some of the best jaggery I've ever had. So, let's see. Pop Herm says, I don't think they will like the infinite pain of the future. Ooh, yeah. Yes, well, that is your perspective, my friend. But I don't believe that is what is in store. I believe it is the opposite of that. There will be a period of pain, no doubt, but it will not be infinite. It will not be infinite because the nature of reality is essentially that of love and that of joy and of peace. And that will prevail. There's absolutely no doubt. So, hello, Chris Hansen. Good to see you. So, Big Will Dog says, Nate, do you plan on having kids? You would be an awesome parent. Thank you, my friend. Up to this point, I have not. But in the future, that's possible. I don't know. We'll see. But I want to get the land first and all of that kind of stuff happening. I still got things that need to happen. But if that situation came about, I would embrace it completely. I would embrace it with every bit of me, no doubt. And I think that would be really wonderful to have the, school and to have some kids and stuff like that. That'd be all right. Julianne Scott, $100. Top donation ever on this channel. Whoa. Thank you. says, Nate, here's to your continued success in 2024. Can't wait till you get your new property and school set up and running. Yes, thank you, my friend. It's coming. The vision is real. And so I appreciate the contribution on that. All right? I appreciate the contribution on that. Yes. Wow. Thank you. So, I know. Jeffrey's like, wow, Julianne. Yeah. Embrace it like a Viking. That's right, John Saldana. Absolutely. So but some perm means, the biosphere is collapsing. Yes, it is. It absolutely is collapsing. I've seen this firsthand. I know that this is what's happening. But we adjust and adapt. The human being is a marvel of adaptation, and that is what we do. And so we will adjust and adapt and thrive. Yes? Sam Potzek says, y'all are making this a great start to the day. I know, it's lovely, isn't it? Stone Creek says, Nate, check out the double fence idea for deer. What is it? What are we talking about? Okay, I'll just look it up. Double fence idea for deer. So, guys, I've been getting a lot of questions lately. Of course, the channel is starting up again, and so that's great. Let me see. There was a couple that I wanted to read. But I'm going to be making the aerated compost tea video and stuff, and we're going to be using aerated compost teas way more this year. Okay, you guys are going to love it. Even though I've been using them for many years. I started this whole channel with the JDOM because when I came back from the mountain, I had zero excess money. Zero. And so I had to just do what I knew could be done with nothing except what you can grab, and so that's all the JDOM stuff. Still wonderful, but now that we've got a little bit of funds, now we can be more fluid with things, and we have more resource availability to us. And so we're going to be using all of that, the aerated compost teas and stuff. So it's going to be wonderful. You guys will love it. Now, is it totally necessary? No. You can still just use purely JDOM stuff. Yes. But this is also another good way. You want to experiment. You want to use as many different methods as you can. And you want to experience them for yourself and see the intricacies of them. And most importantly, read the plants. Read the plants. That's everything. That's number one beyond everything else. The plants will tell you what is happening. The plants are an expression of what is happening in the soil. Do you know what I mean by expression? So you can tell what is happening in the soil by looking at the plant. And it will tell you everything that you need to know about the pH and about the nutrient availability, all that kind of stuff. So you have to be good at reading the plants. All right. And so when we do this stuff, these compost teas and stuff, a lot of people, there's a lot of people out there now that are like scientists, they're soil scientists and stuff. And so they understand things on like a cellular level, on like a chemistry sort of level. They may understand the certain biological processes, definitely. And I used to be one of those people. I used to be all into reading about the soil, the different layers, the different soil food web, and the interactions between this and that, and the nutrient cycling and all of that. And then when I was really getting into it, and we were using the compost teas and stuff, and this is when the big Elaine Ingham was really big at that time, still sort of is. But and also I was reading so the Elaine Ingham course, also the what were the books? Teaming with Microbes, Teaming with Nutrients. I read all those books and everything, and was trying to think. Okay, and I would study. I was so obsessed with all this stuff, so I would study these. All the interactions between soil microorganisms and everything, and I would get deeper and deeper into it, and I would think that I would think that I was able to manipulate a lot more than I was actually able to manipulate. And so this is why I came to the understanding that the deeper that my knowledge got of all this stuff, the more I understood that I don't know anything. We don't know anything. We think we do, but these biological systems are so unfathomably complex that for us to state anything virtually with absolute certainty is a joke. It's just not really true. And so my philosophy, it's like anything that we'll be saying goes without saying. There's an underlying thing that allegedly, I could just put allegedly after all of it, or based upon our current best understanding. But we have to know that we don't know everything. This is important. We have to know that we don't know everything. Stone Creek, thank you very much. $10. Thank you, my friend. It says thank you for everything. So, So when we start talking about like the super specific interactions between soil microorganisms, and then, and this is nothing against Elaine or like Matt Powers. I mean, these guys are great. They're all into the soil science. I highly recommend to learn from them, definitely. But there comes a point, to me at least, when you have to say, okay, how much of this is necessary to know, and how much of this do we actually know? We can say that, okay, well, see, we want to add 4 micrograms of liquid kelp because that's going to make the fungal dominant thing. And then because you want fungal dominant in the soil, because the actinomycetes will react with the super wildly complex, thinking that we actually understand exactly what we're doing in there, but we don't. And this is my philosophy, is because I got so deep into all that. I was reading so many scientific articles and stuff. Guys, I put a link in the description of this video, right at the very bottom, or right at the top of the description, just read that article. Just go through and read that article, and then tell me by the end of that, if you can stomach the whole thing, that we know everything that we're talking about. So there's over 1 trillion different species, they say, of microorganisms on this planet. And we have not even identified 10% of that. And we've only characterized a tiny fraction of that 10%. And so when people start talking about, well, anaerobics, bad, aerobes, good, because this is what happens in that, no, you don't really, that's just not really how it goes, guys. So we have to look at what is the effect. We have to look at what is the effect, okay? Because our current understanding is nothing compared to the immense complexity of this system that sustains us, that we're a part of. And so we have to say, okay, well, what is the effect of all of that? Now, I can say the effect is you read the plants. You can feel, there's a different layer that is the mind is going, okay, well, here's the scientific data behind all of this. That's all good. But there's also another level where you just feel the spirit that moves in all things. You feel the earth, and it tells you what is the right sort of thing. And you add these things because it's like a whisper in your ear to add them. And then you do this and you observe. And I've done this for years. And you observe the plants and you can just see that this works. This works because the proof is in this super beautiful, abundant, nutrient-rich produce that is bursting with flavor. This is the gauge that we need. All right, this is the gauge that we need, and so that is what the message is right now. All right, so we don't become hung up on that, because yes, like Gary Taproot is saying, our ancestors knew nothing about soil science, but grew all of their food by observing the plants. This is right, guys. This is the philosophy that I am promoting here, which is the philosophy of the earth, which is the philosophy of our ancestors. They didn't know anything about a microscope. They didn't know anything about actinomycetes versus the certain enzymes and all of that stuff. That kind of knowledge, and yet they could grow. They sustained their life. They're the original OG farmers. They sustained their whole generations of life. You are here because of their efforts. That's the only reason you're here. And so we have to keep all of that in mind. We have to respect that. And we have to say that, okay, all that scientific stuff is true to a degree. But there's a whole nother level, you see, which comes from the heart and comes from the earth itself. And so the knowledge that you can get about like microorganisms and soil science and the interaction between all the different fungi dominant versus bacterial dominant. Oh, but you want this certain ratio because this plants do this and that. But that's just not really, it doesn't really work like that. So that kind of knowledge is fractal Do you understand what I mean by fractal? That kind of knowledge, there's no end to it. So you can just keep going deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper, and it doesn't end. So at a certain point, we have to step out of that and we have to feel the earth. And that is what we do on this channel. That is what it's about. And that's what I convey in the videos, is that a base level of knowledge is good, but your experience is everything, okay? So, yeah, that was my rant about that. But look at the article in the description, guys. Read that article, okay? I mean, as much of it as you can. And then if you're still totally convinced that we even know a fraction of what we're talking about, then you better read it again. So Mick, $20. Thank you very much, my friend. You guys are being generous today. People forget that science knows that when and how we observe a situation affects it, for lack of, by a better word, reality. Affects its reality. We bring our own experiences to our observations. Absolutely, guys. Absolutely. And we talk about this kind of stuff on the Thrive Like a Viking channel, about how everything exists in a waveform energy until the intention of the observer collapses it. The double slit experiment, for example. So, yes. And Dimitri Saraswati says, farmers used to read the weather and wind and nature. Absolutely. And that was just priceless knowledge. That kind of knowledge kept the tribe alive. Back in the day, guys, you would exist for your tribe. And it's hard for Americans to understand, but I could taste it spending so much time in other countries and in other cultures, how villagers even still they function as a single unit. Collective identity is held way beyond individual identity. So everything is for the tribe, everything that they do. And so the most important job is sustaining the tribe, protecting and sustaining the tribe. And so this knowledge would be passed on in a very sacred way. They didn't know anything about the fungal dominance of certain soils and all this kind of, you don't want to add molasses and all that. They didn't know anything about any of that, but they just knew the language of the earth. And that is still there. It's still there. We just have to understand it. We have to learn to speak that way. So Phoenix Rising says, great analogies this morning, Nate. Thank you very much. I'm glad you're feeling it. VA Green says, double slit experiment is mind-blowing. Check it out. That's right, guys. It is. Big West, like. Yes, guys. Let's click the likes, the thumbs up. Let's see if we can get some more people in the tribe this year, all right? Let's see if we can get more people in these lives, because there's such a bigger knowledge base to draw from, experience base to draw from, the more people there are. Rachel, Successful Garden Design, says, there's a war on farming in the UK and the European Union. Farmland being turned into solar farms. Farmers being paid not to farm rather than helping them move over to regenerative ag. Guys, this is true. This is true, and we know that there is a much bigger picture thing going on here. Much bigger picture thing. Control the food. Yeah, you know how the saying goes. Give me control of something, and I care not who makes its laws. You know what I'm talking about. But the controlling the food supply, guys, most people don't even understand. I mean, the scale of the human enterprise, the industrial ag enterprise. You can't even fathom this. You can drive for hours and hours through Midwestern parts of America, the flatlands and stuff, and see nothing but farmland interspersed by little tiny pockets of cities and stuff, yes, but hours and hours of just corn, soybeans, wheat. GMO, genetically modified corn, soybeans, wheat. And everyone's like, well, I don't even eat that much corn. But you do. It's in everything. It's in everything. We're being fed this stuff on a scale that just defies reason or logic or comprehension even. Dimitri says there's a war on farmers here in Australia too. Yeah, absolutely. It's because the whole goal is to have fewer and fewer and fewer farmers, fewer and fewer people controlling the farmers, and more and more AI already around here, guys. I've seen it. They have drones. They have these drones are like $30,000 a piece, but the farmers buy them, of course, sell their souls into slavery, into debt. And these drones will go, they'll fly down and spray the the chemicals all over the crops. And they'll use GPS to go down, they'll turn around, they'll do hundreds and hundreds of acres this way, guys. It's crazy. So the farmers don't really understand that they're farming themselves all out of jobs. In the future, it will be very much like that movie Interstellar. You know, how all of the combines and everything was run by GPS. And that's going to be, I mean, it's almost that way now, except they have a human in there to just kind of oversee things. Yeah. So, yeah. The Urban Gardener, what's up, my friend? Yes, check out his stream. Remember, I was on that podcast last year. It says, watching as I prep my live stream. We are getting ready for the new season of our show and got to get you back on. Such a great discussion last time. Yes, my friend, definitely. Let's do that. Let's get back on the show. And but we got to fix that sound issue because everybody was not liking the sound issue. But if that is fixed, man, let's do it whenever you want. And let's, we'll make sure that everyone's present. We'll advertise it for a couple of weeks, and we'll make sure that everybody goes right over to that. So, Zigmut says, I wonder how much an agricultural drone pilot makes. That's the thing. These drones don't have pilots. They have, it's a predetermined thing. You enter the parameters. I mean, I guess you could call it a pilot, but there's not a kid sitting there on joysticks in the combine or in the pole barn, you know, sitting there with joysticks. You just program it in and it uses it. It knows its coverage areas. Boom, like that. And it goes. And it has collision avoidance technology, all that kind of stuff. Oh, really? Wayne Caroli says, agricultural drone is a typical job search query. Most salaries for agricultural drone jobs pay between $37,000 and $41,000 annually. Okay, so it must be a different kind of drone, but these drones are automatic. I've seen them. But Kim Williams, does the calcium acetate have a shelf life? Not really. You want to use it within the same season, but if you did it right, meaning if you boiled enough or if you charred off enough of the protein membrane, then it will be good. That's the only thing that would make it go bad is the fat or the protein left on the eggshell. That's why we boil it. So Masabi Gal says, my mom's people were farmers and they are all out of it now. Absolutely. And I didn't really understand this until I traveled intimately through Asia, through India especially, how most of their farmers are still small family holdings with 5 acres or less. That's how it all used to be. And the number one job, everybody was farmers, except for the select handfuls of people that were in the cities doing other things. But almost everybody was farmers. And they had a wide array of different things. Everyone had chickens and a cow or two, some cows or some hogs, and then they grew some corn, but then they grew some other stuff, and they grew some other stuff, and each one of five-ish acres was farming in that way. And so now that has all been replaced with these mega farms, these families that have thousands of acres that they do with these massive machineries. Right. Yeah, Jeffrey says, Kissinger said something about control the oil, you control the country, but control the food and you control the people. Yes. It was like, something like that. Something about control the money, you control the country, but control the food, you control the people. Guys, I mean, imagine right now, no more food. How long before you start getting real anxious, real restless? How long before you start looking for something to eat? You know, and that drive is insatiable. That drive, most people have not experienced hunger. I mean, real hunger. You know, and even me, the most I've experienced it is the Master Cleanse. And even then it's not nearly intense because you're still getting calories, but 20 days of not eating anything. And so you can just tell that drive would take you to do anything. I mean, if you're hungry, oh, man, you will agree to anything. Okay, guys. Let's see here. Oh, man, look at that, 95 minutes already. Okay, guys. Well, let us kind of got off on the tangent, but I kind of like that. We got to have all aspects, the practical aspects of growing and stuff, but then we also have to understand the bigger picture of what is happening, okay? Okay, guys. Well, we will see you guys right here next Saturday, and I'm going to do a video this week. I think it's going to be top 5 seed starting mistakes, because everyone's wanting to start seeds all fast, so that's fine. It is approaching, definitely, but arm yourself with the knowledge first. So go back and rewatch the videos that I've made and get yourself so that you understand the process of what's happening. And even if you've already done it last year, you can watch it again, so that you will understand different things, and you will benefit from it for sure. Okay, so let me know if you guys have any questions about the seed starting stuff. I'll answer as much as I can, and there is a Discord community for you guys. It's free. It's like a chat room for the Viking Tribe. And you can post pictures and you can see other people's pictures. So this is very important, very useful for people. Also, I'm going to start back up the Garden Like a Viking Instagram. I haven't posted in like 5 months on Instagram, but I'm going to start doing all kinds of it's mostly stories. On Instagram, I do lots of stories because they go away real fast, And yeah. Monday, we'll be doing chapter 5 of The Power of Now. So even if you guys don't have any knowledge of this, download a PDF of it or just research. It's free online. Go to chapter 5 and get some understanding of it, or even just show up Monday at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time on the Thrive Like a Viking channel, and you'll still have a great experience. So you can do that. And look out for the next Travel Like a Viking video. It's going to be action-packed, guys, because for the first time in my life, I took a motorcycle. I actually rode on the back of a guy's motorcycle in Vietnam. In America, we don't really ride on the back of other guys' motorcycles. That's just not in our culture. And so that would be very odd for us to do, especially when that man was half my size. Vietnamese man was, not very big, and the bike was like a 250. It was like a Honda Rebel kind of. I mean, it was just crazy. And yet I'm on the back, all sprawled out, and he's driving us all from Da Lat to Nha Trang in Vietnam. So look out for that video as well. Okay, it's going to be interesting. So, all right, my friends, thank you for everything. I will see you next time. Oh, I forgot the filters. We didn't use any filters this time. Okay, my friends. Got to end on the dance party. All right. See you next time. Wait, I can't end it. Wait. Okay. Okay, dance party's over. Everybody has to go home now.